a revenue target of 4.9 trillion naira from taxes in 2016 and a minimum of 90% compliance across all tax types, Nigeria's tax authorities have their work cut out for them. The Federal Inland Revenue Service is tackling this feat head-on using the best means possible. Want to know what it is? Find out in the next 30 minutes. I'm Onyi Sunday, and you're watching Nigeria Going Beyond Oil. No doubt, the year 2016 has been the most challenging year for the Nigerian economy and its tax authorities. The country's economy contracted by 0.36% in the first quarter of 2016 compared to a 2.1% expansion in the previous period. Caused by the dip in oil prices, among other factors, it is safe to say Nigeria no longer lives in the era of plenty. It is at such a time the new management of the Federal Inland Revenue Service hopes to achieve the unimaginable, well, not in their books. Nigeria's Federal Inland Revenue Service hopes to achieve its mandate of diversifying Nigeria's source of revenue through collaboration with states and relevant agencies. Under the umbrella of the government body known as the Joint Tax Board, tax authorities in the federal, state, and local governments are brought together to achieve better efficiency in revenue collection.
Well, in the past year, we have been liaising with all the states' revenue boards through the Joint Tax Board. There is a Joint Tax Board, which is the coordinating agency to bring together all the tax and revenue authorities in Nigeria. So we have been exchanging data, and in the course of our data exchange, as well as collaboration, FRS has been able to register additional taxpayers of 700,000 that's corporate taxpayers who had never been in the tax net, who had never paid any taxes, and a lot of these have started paying.
The Executive Secretary of the Joint Tax Board, Mohammed Abubakar, tells us more.
The Joint Tax Board has been playing a great role in the three aspects of tax system in the country, namely the tax laws, the tax policy, and tax administration. In areas of, those are the three basic areas of tax system. And if you take the tax laws, for example, Joint Tax Board has been participating in not only formulation or enactment, but also in review and amendment of tax laws over the years. And then the composition of the board is the Federal Inland Revenue Service, with the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service as the chairman of the Joint Tax Board. Then other state boards of internal revenue, the 36 states Board of Internal Revenue also coming in as members of the board. Then the board also co-opted other stakeholders, organizations, and like the Federal Ministry of Finance, the Nigerian Immigration Service, the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, the Federal Capital Territory Administration, the Federal Road Safety Corps, and the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. Recently, the board also admitted Nigerian Customs Service as a co-opted member.
Now, talk us through how some of these agencies you mentioned that also make up the JTB contributes to the vision to increase or boost IGR across the states in the Federation.
Ministry of Finance, for example, I told you they handle issues relating to signing of agreement on avoidance of double taxation with other countries. JTB participates in that regard. Federal Road Safety Corps administer the driver's license which is a source of revenue to state. They also produce and sell number plates for motor vehicle and motorcycle to state, which states in turn sell to motorists. The immigration service, for example, give us information on expatriates, and other nationals that come into to work in Nigeria. We get information as to where they stay, companies in which they work, to enable states reach out to such companies and in getting the taxes of such expatriates. Then with custom, as you know, is involved in collection of value-added tax at the ports, and FRS actually administer value-added tax. So in that regard, you have a strong collaboration between the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Nigerian Customs Service. We also get Nigerian Customs Service also add value to our activities by giving us information about companies that import certain goods and services to the country and where they are located.
At the 134th JTB meeting that took place earlier this year in Kano, a communique was issued with very important resolutions. Can you talk us through or just give us highlights from this communique?
A major highlight of that meeting include the need for collaboration, which we've just mentioned. 6 areas were identified for collaboration. One is the need to exchange information among the tax authorities, need to also collaborate and strengthen the process of registering taxpayers, need to also have a joint audit exercises. For example, when the Federal Inland Revenue Service officers are going on audit of a company, the tax authority in that area should be involved, because the tax, by our laws, the personal income tax in respect of individual is payable to the tax authority where the individual is resident. So if, for example, Federal Inland Revenue Service is carrying out an audit that is based, for example, in Lagos, the individual employees, the employees in that company are resident in Lagos. So the personal income tax in respect of those employees will go to Lagos State. So it makes it easy if Federal Inland Revenue inform the state, the Lagos IRS, about its visit or about the audit exercise. They form a team, and then that will actually go in a long way in reducing even time that the two agencies will take in carrying out that audit.
And that was the Executive Secretary of the Joint Tax Board, Mohammed Abubakar, speaking on the functions of the board, also headed by the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. To further achieve better collaboration, a framework outlining operational areas of taxation requiring strong interface was also drawn up to ensure various tax authorities understand that they maintain their powers as revenue-generating agencies while they implement the contents of this framework. Now, with every government revenue-generating agency on the same page 3 to be exact, the areas of collaboration are well tabulated. Identifying and sharing information on taxpayers, conducting joint tax audit exercises by the federal and state internal revenue services, carrying out joint tax enlightenment exercises, trainings, and most importantly, sharing information concerning unremitted taxes discovered on either side forms key areas of collaboration geared towards boosting internally generated revenue. After the break, we visit some of these states and agencies to find out how they are implementing this framework, which took effect from September 2015. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching Nigeria Going Beyond Oil. Today's focus is on collaboration between the FIRS, State Internal Revenue Services, and relevant agencies. Well, you can collaborate with us on the show by dropping your comments and suggestions on our Facebook page, Nigeria Going Beyond Oil, or follow my handle at Onyi Sunday. Kaduna State, located in northwest Nigeria, is one of 36 states in the country looking to source its revenue from within. Hoping to generate 45 billion naira annually, the executive chairman of Kaduna State Internal Revenue Service, Mukhtar Ahmed, plans to generate 20 billion naira from ministries, departments and agencies in the state and 25 billion from the state's Internal Revenue Service. Their approach is to make tax compliance as easy as possible.
We have a new law that has empowered the service, the newly formed Kaduna Internal Revenue Service, which is an offshoot of the law, to say that all revenues in the state will be collected by this agency, including that of the states and the local government. It also has gone a long way to codify and harmonize all these laws into one single document. By so doing, all the tax laws rather, in the state that were existing were repealed by this document, to say that now everything is in this single document. So this will provide us with a lot of transparency and accountability with the revenues that are being collected. It has also given the taxpayer the liberty to comply easily, without any coercion or harassment, because it's really friendly if you look at the document. So these are some of the things that the law has done, and with this, Kaduna has positioned itself to maximally collect these revenues without compulsion, without harassment, because it's friendly and the taxpayer will be, make it very easy for the taxpayer to pay.
In collaboration with the Joint Tax Board, the State Revenue Service is widening its tax net to include taxpayers across its 23 local government areas. By feeding information gathered to a comprehensive taxpayer database, the Federal Inland Revenue Service has better information about taxpayers in the state and can better provide needed information. In Ogun State, southwestern Nigeria, a 50% increase in IGR was recorded in 2015, placing it in the 4th position in performance collection ratings. A little hi and hello is employed to achieve maximum compliance.
So we just set up what we call a new relationship department under my work. They report directly to me. It's part of my department. What we do is we visit companies now. We visit companies, we visit institutions and taxpayers, individuals. Good afternoon, good morning, we are from OGRS. We don't ask how much are you owing OGRS, how much is OGRS owing you, we just ask. We went to Nestle Food and they were so happy that that was the first time people from OGRS would come there only to ask after their welfare. How are you guys doing, for instance? How has been the new foreign exchange regime? raw materials? Has it been, in getting raw materials to the company? And they were happy. They even asked that I should come, they should tell me to come and talk to, address their staff as to the importance of continuing to paying tax and see government or tax agents or no tax the body offices as partners in progress, not all the time we want to arrest you, we want to take you to court and everything. So, and that's what we started doing now, and it's paying off.
With collaboration with the Joint Tax Board playing a key role, information required to ensure maximum compliance is achieved.
If I'm requesting for information for any other company or any other government agency, if I go it alone, I might face some resistance in getting that information. But if we come in as a body, which is the Joint Tax Board, then fortunately, the chairman of the Federal Revenue, IFRS, is also the chairman of the Joint Tax Board. So we meet on a regular basis, quarterly, to share ideas and share information. And at this fora, we come up and say, hey, it would be nice and it will help our cause to have this information, to share this information. But if a state goes it alone, they might face some resistances. The Joint Tax Board has information of all expatriates working in Nigeria, and they share it with all the states. Whereas if us, as Ogun State, had gone alone to request for that information, we might not be able to get it.
Ogun State is the first to approve FIRS's request on automated deduction and remittance of value-added tax and withholding tax from the point of payment to contractors in the state.
At the federal level, what we do with them now, we don't do a joint tax audit just like we don't do a joint tax audit with any state, but we do collaborate with them on VAT and on withholding tax. So there is an initiative currently being championed by IFRS where we've set up a committee to look at how we can collect VAT. And part of that is we will also extend that to WHT, because WHT there is corporate, which is paid to federal, there is personal, which is paid to the state. And when you do audit of companies, there is always a game or there is opportunity for them to play and say, hey, I pay this WHT, already paid to federal. Or I pay this WHT, I'm already paying to the state. But if we have a joint tax audit, then there is no place for you to hide.
Away from the states, the FIRS also collaborates with a number of agencies in gathering information and generating revenue. The Federal Road Safety Corps is one of such agencies. Tasked with registering vehicles in the country, amongst other functions, information on road users are captured digitally, matched for verification, and stored in their data bank, which is made accessible to relevant agencies for investigations.
I think for the past 26 years, since 1990 when the Uniform Licensing Scheme was launched, till date, we've been exchanging information. And I think we have one of the best working collaboration with all the 36 states and FCT and the Federal Land Revenue Service. And I think we are moving ahead now with the Federal Land Revenue Service, especially when it comes to this issue of taxation now. Now that the revenue from the oil is dwindling, then you must go back to the square one to know. For example, in developed countries, emphasis is much on taxation. So, and I'm happy with the trend going on now with the Federal Land Revenue Service. We may have to collaborate more with the states now to ensure. Some states have started this. For example, in one of the states, before you collect your license, you must show evidence of your tax papers. I'm happy.
Now, taxes are either collected from individuals or corporate organizations. In Nigeria, the corporate income tax is of importance. Usually pegged at 30%, its importance to the revenue generation drive cannot be overemphasized. The Corporate Affairs Commission is charged with the registration of companies, so we can say it all begins here. Leveraging on technology, the Corporate Affairs Commission is at the verge of deploying an electronic stamping portal that will allow for e-stamping of incorporated documents and the automatic generation of tax identification numbers for businesses from the point of registration.
Another area of collaboration we're looking at is an electronic portal using extensible business reporting language. It's a computer-based language that allows the auditors of these companies to submit their financial reports electronically without even having to submit any physical document in a data form. One, it serves two purposes. Once you have that platform, anybody can access this information remotely from anywhere. Two, you can analyze the data. You can use it for different statistical analysis. It will be useful both to CAC, to FIRS, to researchers, to Bureau of Statistics. Anybody can access it. So this is one of the areas of our next areas of focus, any area of focus as a commission. So we want to do that jointly with the FIRS so that we will have that joint platform that will allow for submission of audited financial statement using the XBLR system.
The Corporate Affairs Commission isn't the only agency employing technology to achieve its mandate. At the Federal Inland Revenue Service, technology is the game changer in revenue collection. Kola Ukola, the acting coordinating director of the Modernization Support Group of the FIRS, gives detailed perspectives on the use of ICT in collaborating with the states and agencies such as the Customs, Corporate Affairs Commission, and the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation.
We also have collaboration with other agencies such as the Nigeria Customs Service. As we speak, we exchange information with the Customs Service. So we are able to know those that are importing, what they are importing, and the tax element, that's the VAT element of what they are importing. This is very, very useful because it enables us to carry out accurate assessments. Also, historically, looking at the legacy data, we have been able to do data matching to compare what we have in our database and what the company registrar, the Corporate Affairs Commission, has. We are able to know those that are registered but are not in our database, and we are able to, our staff have been going around to find out where those companies are located and also to generate the tax identification numbers for them.
Working with the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation through the Government Integrated Financial Management Information System, known as GIFMIS, information on contracts awarded by the federal government are made available to the FIRS for tax payments. Most government ministries and departments have adopted the motto, no tax identification number, no pay.
So with this, we are able to see transactions pertaining to contracts awarded by government. Every contract awarded has a potential tax element with respect to withholding tax as well as the value-added tax. So this has introduced a lot of transparency. The GIFMIS is also a tool to enable government to have a centralized management and control of government accounts. So at a glance, the relevant functions are able to see what government has in the balance of payment. They have the accounts receivable, accounts payable, the general ledgers. Before the advent of the GIFMIS, it was almost impossible for government to know their financial position.
There are 821 ministries, departments, and agencies on the GIFMIS and Treasury Single Account platform, which allows for greater visibility and accountability. The FIRS also collaborates with the Central Bank of Nigeria and Financial Reporting Council to exchange data.
So the GIFMIS FIRS interface is an initiative to enable the automatic deduction without manual intervention. So far, there's an ongoing pilot phase with 29 MDAs on that pilot phase, such that whenever contractors are paid, the accruing tax element, the tax components are automatically deducted and remitted to the relevant government account, that's FRS account at CBN, the Federation account, the Consolidated Revenue Fund.
With a platform that allows for the verification of tax clearance, the next step is to make it available to relevant ministries, departments, and agencies. With its flagship platform known as the Integrated Tax Administrative System, which allows for end-to-end tax administration, taxpayers will soon start to file their tax returns online rather than visit the office of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. From the Joint Tax Board to the states, ministries, departments, and agencies, collaboration is at the center of it all, with information sharing a key ingredient achieved through judicious use of technology. On that note, we draw the curtains on this episode of Nigeria Going Beyond Oil. Join us on the next episode of the program as we discuss value-added taxes. Remember to drop your comments and suggestions on our Facebook page, Nigeria Going Beyond Oil, or follow my handle at Onyi Sunday. I'm Onyi Sunday, by the way. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.